You ever look at some of these broads or these simps and you think to yourself, you don't need to lie to me because I don't really trust you anyway. I don't trust anything about you, and I don't trust your intentions. I don't trust that you even know who you are enough to ensure that you're not going to try to do me dirty just because these people are traumatized, man. These people are traumatized. It's like when they can't control things, when they feel as though they're losing control on controlling you, they freak the fuck out. And you're left sitting there thinking to yourself, how traumatized do you have to be to try to force people to see things your way and to live the way that you live because it's the only way. It's like, no. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. I'm not even here to try to convince anybody of that. I'm just here to live it. I'm just here to live what I follow Jesus Christ for. I am simply a vessel for Jesus Christ. And I'm so tired of having to look at all of these people who are becoming agreeable. They're becoming hyper agreeable. They don't know how to be disagreeable in the ways in which they are not passive aggressive. It's almost as if people are so prone to passive aggressiveness that they don't even know what aggressiveness truly looks like. And so when you're just speaking the truth and it sounds offensive, people can't handle it. They don't know. And I'm convinced that all women at this point are going to need to be trained. They're going to need to be retrained. They're going to need to be operated on, spiritually speaking. I'm convinced of it. Most men will have to be as well, but more so than not, there will be at least a few men that get it because they have the capacity for that disagreeableness without losing compassion. They can be disagreeable, but still have compassion for the people because they know that God has commanded them to love these people. We are commanded to love people. God commanded me to do that too. So I have love for these people, but I don't respect a lot of them. And so what we have to do is we have to recognize how to see the spiritual persecution as a form of power rather than a form of pity. Because you can milk yourself in self-pity all you want. And you can drive yourself to the point of depression and wanting to be suicidal. Because that's a spirit that you're entertaining, by the way. You're letting this spirit indoctrinate you. You're giving yourself up and your cognitive faculties up to this demonic spirit. And it's like, why would you do that? I had somebody reach out to me today in the Regal Change Academy. Shout out to this guy if he's watching. And he said that one of the things that I said in my recent video was that you can either be so depressed that you want to kill yourself, or you can be so depressed that you want to wage war on the system. You want to destroy the system that's trying to kill you. Which would you rather choose? Until death, we are not yet done. We are not yet defeated. That's just the way that I look at it, though. And so we have to take power in this spiritual persecution. We have to recognize that feeling guilt and shame is a tool. It's not something to make yourself try to change who you are because of that. It's a tool to understand what you need to do differently. And it's not to change who you are necessarily. In some ways, yes, perhaps. But it's also not to say that you just have to focus on one aspect of life. And if you are feeling this guilt or this shame, you got to be careful because there will be people who will take advantage of you emotionally speaking. Because they'll sense this like sharks in the fucking water, man. They will sense this. They will smell your blood and they will sense your blood dripping in the water, and the sharks will come. Okay? Learning how to swim with sharks was one of the most useful things that I learned to do, because some of these people, they are not valiant or gallant at all in their spirit. They have no sense of honor, no sense of ingenuity, no sense of genuineness. They want to hurt you, but they'll make it seem like they're friends. They'll make it seem like, oh yeah, we're chill, we're friends. Oh yeah, I want to see you succeed. And then they're like plotting behind your freaking back, dude. It's just so crazy how this is the world that we live in. And again, I'm convinced that all women need to be trained, retrained. If you are in a long-term relationship with a woman right now, you best get on that retraining and capitalize on your frame and make sure she's following your program. She's in submission to your mission. Otherwise, we are cooked. Like, we really are. And it's crazy because I'm very optimistic about life. I'm very optimistic about the crash and how everything is falling apart. I'm really optimistic that everything's falling apart, actually, because this gives us the opportunity to really rise as men. We really are going to be able to take our place and to pick up our own crown and to place it upon our own head like Napoleon, the great emperor. And I was doing research in Alexander the Great last night because I was thinking to myself, we know who Alexander the Great is thousands of years later. And he died when he was like 31 or something, right? What was it about this guy who was 31 years old? He was 31 years old, and to this day, we still know his name as one of the greatest conquerors of all time. Because he never consolidated power. He just kept going and going and going. But what did he do? He never consolidated. He instead gave these people that he conquered the opportunity to keep their own kinds of cultures and rituals and such as long as they were under his rule. So they were able to have their own customs to some degree, but they were now his. They were now him. And like they would have to abide by these new rules insofar as they didn't go against, they could abide in their own rules insofar as it doesn't go against the new rules. That's really smart, actually. And that's like a Machiavellian tactic. Anybody that's read The Prince by Machiavelli knows what I'm saying. But it's a very, very good Machiavellian tactic. And he was so good at inspiring his leaders. He knew, like his soldiers and his generals, right? He knew that so many people would be wanting to bend or wanting to quit because obsession is a young man's game and all that. And he knew this stuff, and he knew that envy and jealousy would possibly arise among the ranks if certain people were given certain opportunities that others weren't. And so what did he do? He always gave the opportunity for people to climb higher in the ranking system. This is really smart. This is really, really smart stuff when it comes to actually conquering, because it gives people a continual opportunity to want to continue. And there was a time where Alexander's soldiers were like super tired, right? They were super tired and they didn't want to go on and they didn't want to do this. And so Alexander, he gave this like great speech, allegedly, because we don't really know if he's like, we have pretty good evidence that he said this stuff, but we don't know exactly what he said because they didn't really write it down, of course. They just had the stories of the soldiers to pass on to other generations. And apparently, allegedly, what he said was just so palpable to the human spirit that there was nothing that he said that could deter them from winning again. And he was just such an interesting character, you know, such a fascinating character. I want to do more research on him because I don't know, there's something about, like, if you want to be a conqueror, let's say, you have to know how to conquer. It's like, obviously. And even though I have great ambition, I'm not going to do ambitious things simply for the sake of ambition. I'm doing it for God. So I'm trying to incorporate what Alexander did, because Alexander didn't have limits. He did not believe in that. He saw how the generals of his time, growing up, he saw how they just kind of, these were men that were talented, but they settled for less than they really were because they wanted to, like they had to shrink themselves. These great talented men had to shrink themselves just to fit in, so they didn't feel like, they were getting burned alive. But Alexander the Great was just, I'd rather burn. I'd rather burn than feel as though I have to shrink myself. And I'm at that point right now, I'm at that point where I'm so sick of the lies. I'm so sick of all of the lies that we men who actually are masculine have had to endure. I'm so sick of the disrespect. What's so freaking crazy, dude, is there are women who will disrespect you even if you do have your stuff together. And it's like, are you truly this stupid? Like, you cannot be this dumb. You cannot be. Like, women are way too comfortable being as annoying as they are nowadays. They just are so annoying sometimes. And it's like they mark you when you don't give them what they want, which is attention. And so, like right now, there's this lady at the gym. She's not even a lady, right? She's probably like 19 or 20. And she's been following me around for a while. And she has a great plausible deniability of the way she does things. And it's like, I know that she knows that I know what she's doing, but we don't talk about it and we haven't said a word to each other. And I just always leave whenever she's around. I just leave, because even though she's attractive, I'm not attracted to her, right? And so she's just aiming to, I can feel she just wants to take my life force. That's all she wants to do. And there are better women. Like, there are just better women that are more worth my time. And she cannot handle that I don't really care. She hates that I'm indifferent. And it's like, sometimes these ladies won't leave you alone, man. They will not leave you alone. And it's like, what do you do in a situation like this? Because if I say something, she's going to have plausible deniability. And if I don't say something, though, and if I just continue to walk away, like, how long is she going to persist with this crap? It's like, it's so annoying, dude. It's so freaking annoying, because they're so, these women are so subtle with how they do things and how, it's shot. Like, just stop, man. Just stop. I don't trust you anyway. I don't trust you. You don't have to pretend with me, because I don't even know what you really want anyway, other than attention. And so all I can do with myself is just continually to remove myself, because she hasn't explicitly done anything, but it's almost as if I do say something, then I'm casting my pearls before swine. Because she's going to act. I know how she's going to act. I've seen the way she behaves around other guys. Because she explicitly tries to talk to other dudes in front of me. And it's like, this is what we see. This is what we men have to deal with. Women will say, oh, we have to deal with periods. We have to deal with pregnancy. We have to deal with this, with that. What do men have to deal with? It's like, we have to deal with you, ladies. We have to deal with you. And y'all are just not. Women have been so obsessed with the psychological manipulation for the past 50 years. This is how deep it's going. Because I'm not even saying that it was perfect beforehand. Okay, I'm not saying that it was perfect, but there's no way even 10 years ago things were this bad. in intersexual dynamics. There's no way. The moral masks that people wear, it's like they're wearing moral masks on top of moral masks. They are wearing so many masks, they don't even know which one is them at this point. They don't even have a face. They don't even know who they really are at all. And it's the same thing with dudes. I feel so betrayed by all of these simps that are just promoting themselves as these white knight companions that are perfect and hating on the masculine men that maybe, okay, yeah, maybe I am a bit of an asshole. Maybe I am. I'm not trying to be, but it's just because, I've been asked this question recently. It's like, well, why are you single? What exactly is the deal, man? It's like, do you see women that are ready to be mothers, ready to be wives? Like, yeah, there's a lot of attractive women out there. I genuinely don't see. Like, the young men are doing okay. They're doing all right. I mean, things are pretty rough still, don't get me wrong, but I see more hope in the younger men than I do in any of the younger women. The younger women have been they've been plowed and destroyed. They've had their hands around too many cocks and their mouths where God only knows that it's too much. It's too much. It's all too much. And so this is a great opportunity for the men out there to actually fortify themselves. To say, yeah, feminism wanted a war. Okay, well, you best believe you got one. Okay? You got the war you wanted. Congratulations. We didn't want this. We didn't want this. We wanted to prosper together. And instead, y'all wanted to control. Subtly, sneaky, snake-like. There's no other way right now for men to do anything in this world. If you're masculine, you just have to do your own thing. There is no other option. A woman is either on your program or she's not. And I know that I'm speaking to the young men's hearts out here and some of the older gentlemen as well who have seen this, but they're just realizing it now. They're like, I don't think a lot of men over the age of 40, for example, realize how bad things are. I just don't. Things are really bad in the intersexual dynamics for people that are like under the age of 40. It's really bad. And some of them do get it, of course, but I think majority of them, they have no clue. They are still in la la land. And the boomers, forget the boomers destroyed everything as far as what civilization was going to become starting around that time period. The boomers started to live off of the resources of their future generations. And they're still doing so, and they've taught us to do that too. And now we younger people are waking up and we're realizing, like, wait a second, this isn't right. This isn't right at all, actually. Why are we still in the fiat currency? Why are we letting women run around naked practically? What are we doing here, guys? Why are we going to the universities and getting in all this debt for no reason where the degree isn't even going to matter at the end of it? It's just a slut-making factory. That's what the universities are. And for the women. And then for the men, they're like, what would you call it? Cuck enforcers. Like, they make men who are cuck enforcers. They're like the cuck police, bro. That's what they are. That's what these universities do. They make men who are made up to be into this cuck police into the feminist army. And then they create all these women that are sluts. And we're left, as the masculine men, we're left to clean up this place. And we're thinking to ourselves, it seems like everybody had a party, and now we're supposed to clean it up. Whoa. Why do we have the responsibility to clean up this party?
Well, because we said so, and you're gonna like it.
No, we don't actually. We don't. We take accountability for our own things over here as we masculine men. We're on the golden train to prosperity. We're going to the promised land. If you guys want to hang out in the mansion of degeneracy, go for it. I'm not stopping you, but don't force me to clean up your mess. Because it's not even a mansion. It's not even it's just an oasis, it's a facade. It's a false oasis and a mirage. And so the universities are fake. The government sucks. Whoever still believes that we're going to get the whole thing on the Epstein files and all that. Look, retarded NPCs are going to think about retarded NPC things. I'm just saying, because this is... Who cares anymore? Who cares? It's not going to... Even if they do give out all the Epstein files, it's not going to be everything. It's not going to be everything. So who cares? Who cares? We as Americans, if you're an American watching this, we were sold out once again. Patriotism is for the peasants, and it's not to say that you can't love your country, of course, because having a country is like having a name, but we have been bought and sold multiple times. It's up to us. We have to start in the roots. The only way to play the system and beat the system is to play the system and beat the system. We have to carry pride in our manhood. A man's happiness and peace is essential for the prosperity of a society. That much I know for sure. And guess how many men are truly happy nowadays? Whew. More suicides than ever, more women on SSRIs than ever, and we're supposed to believe like this sexual liberation thing and the universities and the debt and the fiat currencies, it's all just... Let's stop eating lollipops and pooping rainbows. Let's get out there. Let's get to work. We masculine men, we don't have to clean up their fucking mess. We don't have to clean that up. Let's just get on the golden train. Let's use Bitcoin. And for all the people that don't understand what Bitcoin is, I don't want to hear... Like, do your research, bro. Do your research. It's okay if you don't understand it. Because I understand the skepticism. But if you think that Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a limited asset in a limitless space. Okay, so fiat is a limitless asset / currency in a limited space. So it's the inverted thing, right? Well, what does that mean? It means that whenever things outside of us are limitless, it makes what is introspective inside of us to be minimalized. Whereas it's the inverse with everything else. If we ourselves believe we are limitless, like Alexander the Great, he didn't believe in limits, right? If we ourselves believe that we are limitless because we are interdimensional beings, we are spiritually speaking interdimensional beings, then that means that what's outside, yes, although it is limited and it is scarce and it is valuable, it's not as valuable as this. Nobody out here can claim this, my soul. The only one who has my soul is Jesus Christ, God himself. That's it. Well, I think I said everything I wanted to say in this video. But yeah, I thank God everything's falling apart, because now the real wheats and the tares are going to show. So with all that being said, if you're finding this information useful and valuable, you have the time and you have the financial resources to do so, check out my Godlike Master Initiation program, or schedule a one-on-one session with me. Or if you're maybe more like looking for a community and a university and church replacement option, that's where you check out the Regal Change Academy. We have the free tier as well as the premium tier. Free tier gets you access to the actual community, but the premium tier will give you access to the group calls and the classes and such. So with all that being said, stay blessed, peace, and until next time.